Good morning, friends. Happy Monday. I am Andi, and I am honored to be here this morning with you in your space. Welcome to my space, my basement. So, for those of you who don't know me, like I said, my name's Andi. I am a Yoga Buzz grad. I had my certification in 2018 and in December, and I'm just really honored to be able to share like a slow flow practice with you this morning. So this won't be a really long practice or anything like that, but it is kind of to help get the body moving this morning, to feel strong and ready to take on the day. I'm just so honored that Yoga Buzz is letting me teach to you this morning. And we have a whole lineup of teachers that are going to be sharing their gifts online this week. And I know that tons of studios across the city are also offering classes. So please make sure you support Yoga Buzz. You can donate below. That helps to go to all the amazing programming that Yoga Buzz does to keep yoga accessible and in your community. And part of what Yoga Buzz's mission is to teach the teachers of the future, to teach teachers of tomorrow, yoga teachers for tomorrow, and make sure that there's yoga teachers that represent everyone, every body, and just make sure that yoga is accessible to everyone. And you can find me typically at Brick City Yoga, Brick City STL. So I'm really happy to be here. Check out our schedule online and we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm going to invite you today to just kind of come to yourself standing. It's so easy to like sit in the morning and maybe you still feel like being in bed, but try to find a nice strong base to really find yourself this morning, wherever that is. So maybe just stand tall, lift up those shoulders, let those shoulders roll back, let the neck go long, and just be for a moment. Find a nice root in your feet. And if you feel comfortable, maybe close your eyes or bring them to a heavy gaze. And just start breathing. Notice your breath. Notice your breath this morning, where it's landing. Don't judge, just notice. Notice the inhale and exhale as it goes in and out of your nose or mouth. Notice any tension that you're carrying in your body from either the weekend or the week. Just be present where you are currently. And if your mind starts to wander, just try to bring it back to your breath. Standing tall, ready to face the week. Take a few more cleansing breaths wherever you're at. Maybe inhaling and exhaling. Again, inhale and exhale. Feeling your body rise and fall. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Good. And if you want to keep your eyes closed, you can, or you can start blinking your eyes open a little bit, checking in with where you're at. Maybe you stay here in the center of your mat, maybe you're in the center of your mat, maybe you go to the top of your mat. For the moment, I'm going to stay in the center, but if you want to go to the top to make transitions easier, by all means do so. But I invite you just to stand tall and start making circles with your neck. You can make circles, you can rock your head side to side. Breathing. Make this as big or as small as you'd like. Take your time. You might hear some popping and cracking. That's okay. Just make sure that it feels good. Try to keep your shoulders down. It's so easy to be like, oh, I'm bending my neck. Keep your shoulders down. Good. Now bring your head back to neutral. Maybe on the inhale, you raise your hands up overhead. And exhale, back down. Inhale, up overhead, stretch, reach this morning. And exhale, back down to your sides. Good. Inhale, reach, reach, reach. Grab the sun, exhale, back down. Good. On your next inhale, raise your hands up overhead. And exhale, turn to your right. Maybe you twist, maybe you just grab your belly, look over to the right. Maybe you interlock that hand behind you, stand tall here. See if you can keep your shoulders down. Maybe look to the right, or maybe you're looking a little bit further behind you. Take a few breaths here, really into this twist, and in each inhale and exhale, see if you can maybe twist a little deeper, or just find a place that's comfortable for you. On the next inhale, unwind, raise your hands up overhead, really strong in your base. Exhale, let's turn to the left, either looking just off to the left, or maybe a little bit behind you, whatever you're feeling this morning. See if you can keep your shoulders down. Breathe in and out, finding that space. Good. On the next inhale, raise your hands back overhead. With your hands up overhead, grab your your left wrist, and exhale, just kind of pull that left arm across your head. Maybe look up to your ceiling or out, or maybe just ahead of you, giving yourself a nice long twist in that left side body. Stretch. Pulling. Inhale. Hands overhead. Grab that right wrist. Bring it across, giving yourself a stretch on the left side. Maybe you look up. Maybe just out. Really feel that stretch. Breathing. Good. On the next inhale, rise back up, stand tall. Maybe look at your thumbs. Watch the ceiling if you're in a low-lying ceiling. Maybe look at your thumbs. Give yourself a little bit of a back bend. And exhale. On the exhale, bring your hands down. Start to forward fold. Just take your time getting there. It's probably your first maybe forward fold of the morning. Breathe here. Make sure that your knees are nice and loose, bent. Your arms are hanging. Don't put any undue pressure on what your forward fold looks like. Just make sure that it's supportive for you. Let your head hang loose here. If you need to, take your feet a little bit wider. Rock side to side. Breathing. Maybe grab your elbows, rocking side to side if that is more supportive. On the next inhale, slowly start rising up, knees bent. Inhale, hands overhead, and then exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Now if you're not at the top of your mat, go ahead and get there. But if you're already at the top of your mat, inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Again, stand strong. But you can have your knees bent, your feet planted. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly rise all the way back up. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Maybe plant your hands here. Step back, either into high plank this morning, or lower those knees down into low plank. Make sure that those hands are spread wide, those fingers are spread wide. Exhale, lower yourself down all the way to the mat. Breathe here. Inhale, just look forward. Bring that chin up, chest up, feet planted. Exhale, back down. On the next inhale, just come up to tabletop. And once you arrive into tabletop, again, make sure that your fingers are spread wide, shoulders under wrist. Exhale, look forward, drop the belly. Inhale, tuck the chin to chest, tuck the sit bone, tailbone. Inhale and exhale through cat-cow if you like. Or if you're like me and you need a little bit extra movement, just start making circles. Find what's fluid for you. Whatever feels good for you is okay this morning. Breathe where you're at. Just start warming up that spine. You can rock back and forth. Side to side. You decide, yogi's choice. And then whenever you're ready, come back to a neutral spine. Fingers, again, spread wide, shoulders and wrists aligned. Bring your right leg back. Maybe just play into that right foot this morning. Coming up onto the balls, the ball of your toes, the ball of your foot. Maybe make circles. Good, and bring that foot back down, your leg back down. Take that left leg out, just kind of give yourself some circles. Breathing. Coming onto the ball of your foot. And then bring that leg back. Now, depending on your wrists, maybe you just turn your wrists out to the side, and that's enough of a wrist stretch that you need. Maybe if you have a little bit more, you turn your wrist backwards. You decide where you're at, but just kind of stretch those wrists out. If you have where you can turn your wrists back towards you, by all means do so, but you decide without hurting yourself where you want to be with your wrists, just to kind of give them a nice stretch. If you're going to be working at a desk today and your hands and wrists are getting tired and you're sitting at a desk that you're not used to, this is a nice stretch for that. So even if it's just out to the side, that's enough. So stretching those wrists. And whenever you're ready, bring your wrists back, forward. Bring your knees as wide as the mat, sink your hips back, and then walk those hands forward, coming into your first child's pose. You can rest your head down on the mat. You can come to your forearms, whatever's comfortable for you. Breathe here. Take a few cleansing breaths. And then on the next inhale, rise back up into tabletop. Maybe tuck your toes, sink your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Welcome to your inversion of the day. Maybe this is as close to an inversion as you're going to get, and that's totally okay because it's as close to an inversion as I'm going to get to this morning. So feel free to walk out your dog. Take some movements, bend your knees if you need to. And whenever you're ready, maybe start walking your feet up to meet your hands, the top of the mat, forward fold. Again, strong feet. Your base is strong, but everything else is loose. Inhale, halfway lift. Flat back. Maybe you just kind of bring your neck side to side. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly rise all the way up. Hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Check in with yourself wherever you're at. You can keep your hands at heart center if that's nice and grounding for you, or you can bring them down to your side. Just check in, see what you're feeling. Now that you've had a little bit of movement, we'll add on just a little bit more. So inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step your left leg back. So maybe you stay on the ball of your foot, your left foot this time. Maybe you shine that chest forward. Right leg at a 90 degree or as close as you can get it. Now maybe framing that right foot isn't comfortable for you. Feel free to walk that right foot out a little bit. Give yourself enough room. So bring your hands maybe on the inside of your right leg. Just kind of shine that chest forward. And whenever you feel like you have a nice, strong balance, see if you can maybe bring your hands to that right knee. And you want to be on a railroad track, railroad tie, rather than a tightrope. So if you need to adjust your legs to make sure that that's the case, do so. And then whenever you're ready, rise up, bring your hands up overhead, or cactus your arms, or take your hands behind you, or bring your hands to sassy hands this morning. Feel into this lunge. On the next inhale, if you haven't already, bring your hands up overhead. Exhale, we're going to twist to the right. So you're going to bring your left hand maybe in front of you. Maybe it's easier to kind of grab. You decide where your twist is today. We're going to twist to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, open up, twist to the left. If you ever need to put that back foot down, by all means do so. Inhale, back to center. And then whenever you're ready, exhale. Bring your hands down in front of you, planting them, nice strong plant. Step that right foot back, coming into downward facing dog. Walk out the dog, bend the knees if you need to. And whenever you're ready, look at the top of your hands, look forward, and start walking your way up to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly rise up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Check in with yourself again. Always check in with yourself, especially in the morning. You're just kind of getting the rust off, you know? Check in with yourself. You can bring your hands down to your side. Take a few breaths. And the next inhale, raise your hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. On this forward fold, step your right foot back this time. Maybe frame that left leg. Maybe walk that left leg out a little bit, giving yourself enough room. Bending that left leg so that it's at a 90-degree angle or as close as possible for you. Whenever you're ready, inhale, either bring your hands to your thigh, your left thigh. Find that balance. Keep those hips square. And whenever you're ready, you can lift your hands up if you want. You can cactus again. You can grab the hands in the back, locking them, chest opener. And you can keep your hands to your hips if that's where you're at. Breathe here. You notice I'm a little wobbly this morning. Notice, just notice. Our bodies always are holding something, so sometimes we're going to be wobbly. There's a lot going on in the world, and it's okay to wobble. Inhale, make sure that your hands are overhead, and exhale, we're going to open up to the left this time. So maybe you just bring your hands out, maybe you tie them around your body. And the next exhale, mind. And then we're going to open up to the right. Always feel free to put that right foot down on the mat if you need to, giving yourself a little bit more. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, fold down, plant your hands. Step that left foot back into downward facing dog. Just breathe here. Whatever it looks like today is fine. And whenever you're ready, slowly start walking your feet up to meet your hands at the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly rise up. Hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Check in again. See how you're standing. Strong. Are you feeling a little looser this morning in terms of your body and how it's feeling? Breathe. On the next inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Maybe give yourself a nice bend in those knees. Really let everything hang loose here on this forward fold. Almost like you're a rag doll. Just kind of hanging there, Pinocchio. Something where you're hanging loose. Maybe your knees are bent. Don't worry if you can't touch the mat or you can't touch your toes. You don't have to be able to touch your toes to do yoga. You're doing it every minute of your day where you're mindful. Inhale, halfway lift. Flat back. Exhale, forward fold again. Let everything hang loose. Breathe. Good. And then maybe plant your hands. Step your feet back. Lower the knees down into tabletop. Make sure those fingers are spread wide. Just kind of Wag back and forth. Find some movement that feels good for you. Again, whether it's cat-cow or making circles. Just find what feels good. And then whenever you're ready, come back to neutral. Bring your knees a little bit wider. Sink your hips back. Maybe walk your hands forward a little bit, coming into a child's pose. Even if your head can't touch the mat, maybe you have a blanket or a pillow or some books nearby that you can just rest your head on. And just breathe. Take this time to breathe into your body. Really filling those lungs. Inhaling and exhaling. Maybe you notice the liveliness that's coming into your house, outside. You can start hearing the birds. Because even as we maybe stay indoors more or distance ourselves from everything else, the world is still continuing and we're still continuing. And every day is a new day. On the next inhale, rise back up just enough where you can find yourself in a seat on your mat. So maybe you just move your hips. However you get there is okay. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Nobody's watching. This is your practice. So wherever you're at is okay. Maybe bring your feet out in front of you, your legs out in front of you. Maybe point those feet towards the sky. Maybe point them back towards your face. Just kind of flexing your toes, noticing. On the next inhale, raise your hands up overhead. Shine that chest towards the sky. Exhale, lead with the chest, folding over. Now maybe your hands just land on your ankles. Maybe they lay on your shins, maybe your thighs. Maybe you do grab your toes. Lead with the chest, neck and chest strong here. Breathe. On the next inhale, slowly rise back up. Hands overhead. Really stretch tall here. Grab the sun this morning. And then exhale, squish that sun down, bring it straight to your chest. Good. Now maybe bring your feet together. So this might not be overly comfortable for you. If it's not, just cross your legs. And if that's not, keep your legs long. Just sit tall here, notice. Breathing in and out. Notice the morning. Notice where you're at. Good. And maybe you maybe you're facing the long side of your mat. If you're not, go ahead and do that now. Maybe you plant your feet and slowly lower down, or maybe you just find your way onto your back. However you find your way there, with your knees up towards the sky, arriving on your back. Just notice, check in with yourself, breathe. Maybe you bring your legs a little bit wider, your feet a little bit wider on the mat. Start windshield wipering your legs back and forth here. Taking your time. Maybe you're like, oh, I can usually go a little deeper with these windshield wipers. It's morning. Give yourself a little bit of grace this morning. And continue to hold that grace for the rest of the day as much as possible. And as you're windshield wipering, once your legs fall over to the right, let them just kind of fall there and just notice. Maybe your hips aren't ready for some big, huge stretch. That's okay. Just notice where you're at this morning. Maybe bring your hands out to a T. Maybe look over your left shoulder. You decide where you're at. Breathe here. Taking some breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Just notice. And on the next inhale, raise that left leg, then raise the right. Windshield wiper back and forth. And maybe when your legs fall to the left, you let them just kind of fall there. Just notice. Notice the difference in your body from one side to the other. I always find that super interesting. Maybe you do too. Breathe here. Either bring your hands out to a T. You can keep them by your side. Whatever feels good for you. Just breathe into this side twist. Inhaling and exhaling. On the next inhale, raise that right leg, then the left. Windshield wiper just one more time, back and forth. Maybe you bring your knees back to neutral, and then maybe you bring them in and give yourself a hug. Right now, we're so wanting to hug, and know that you have the ability to hug and soothe yourself if you need to. Bring your knees either close together, or they can be apart. Maybe rock side to side. You decide what your practice looks like. And then whenever you're ready, slowly start exhaling. Making your legs long on the mat. Maybe you give yourself a full body stretch here. Really reach for the back of your space. Really point those toes. Really give yourself a nice full body stretch. And then let loose for a moment. Breathe here. And then again, maybe give yourself a full body stretch. Really reach, pointing the toes, reaching your fingers, and exhale, loosen. And then inhale one more time, really reach, point the toes, really reach the fingers, and exhale, loosen. Just tightening those muscles, letting them loose. The practice of doing that is something that can kind of sometimes, it soothes me. So hopefully maybe that's a trick that can help soothe you. And then if you want to take final rest on your back today, you can. You can always take it on your back. Just relaxed hands. If you need a little extra grace this morning, maybe flip your palms over. Let the sky decide and help you with that. Maybe you feel like you need a little bit more grounding, so maybe you flip your palms over and let the earth decide and help you with that. Maybe you have your knees bent. Maybe you're taking final rest on your side or on your stomach. Or maybe you take it in a favorite pose. Or maybe you slowly rise up into a seat and you take it from seated. However you take your final rest, know that it's yours. And it's special to you, and that's all that matters. And however you're taking it, just know that I'm so grateful to join you today. And that your practice is always enough. That you're always enough. Hopefully you stay safe and grounded. And know that you can always come back to your practice and yourself to help guide you. Take your time with final rest today. And know this. My soul honors your soul. I honor the place in you where the entire universe resides. I honor the love, the light, the beauty, the truth, and the kindness within you, because it is also within me. And in sharing these things, there is no distance or difference between us. We are the same. We are united. We are one. Thank you for joining me today. Take your time wherever you're at. Show yourself some grace. Show others grace along with you. For that light is within you. And for that, I offer my thank you. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. Take your time in your final rest. And I will hopefully see you all in person really soon. So again, take your time. Thanks. Have a good day.